Welcome back to Cask and Point. Today I have a real gem for you guys, and a real gem for myself. So as many of you know, I'm sure, I really like Rare Character. I've reviewed Rare Character probably about 15 times here on the channel. I've tried a lot of their single barrel series, their KBTs, their KRYs, their KOAs, their TKOs, all these different single barrel series. I've also tried their nice offerings, their Pride of Anderson Counties, and their Brook Hills, and I've given very high praise to Rare Character. I've said that it's some of the best whiskey that I've ever tried, and I continue to believe that on particular single barrels. However, many people say that I'm a little bit crazy, that some other whiskeys are just so much better, and when I did a William Larue Weller versus Brook Hill Doom video just a few weeks ago, many people said that I might be a little bit off by saying an 8-year, 140 proof hazmat from Rare Character was beating the king of wheated bourbon, William Larue Weller. And so I heard all this information and I said, all right, we're gonna blind them. So I've built what I can say is probably the best Rare Character blind that I've ever done, that I may ever do just because of the sheer quality of these bottles. So let's break down what is in this flight. So on the Rare Character side of things here, the Brook Hill side of things, I have Brook Hill Doom. Brook Hill Doom is what I reviewed a couple weeks ago. This is an 8-year, 140.18 proof hazmat wheated bourbon. We don't know the source. We do know that its MSRP was about $250 and its secondary was about $1,200. So not a cheap bottle by any means. In second, we have Brook Hill Daryl Proof. So Daryl Proof is also an 8-year, 140.0 proof hazmat wheated bourbon, and this is actually from Daryl Proof, which is a group I think run by a guy named Nick, and he does a lot of hazmat picks, and I've tried a couple of them and they've been absolutely out of this world. And many have told me that Daryl Proof is better than Doom, that they really have similar characteristics to them as wheated bourbons, likely from the same source, but somehow Daryl Proof, they were able to get a better barrel than the one that went public in South Carolina, that being Doom. And so, a lot of people have been telling me this, and so I got my hands on a sample, and we're going to find out if it is better. Now, in third, we have Brook Hill Life of Luxe 10-year. So this was 119 proof. This was one of the older Brook Hills, released in the beginning of 2024, when there were only 8 Brook Hill bourbons. Now there are about 30, maybe even 40 Brook Hill bourbons, but there was once a time when there were just 8. And this is said to be one of, if not the best of those 8, an absolutely incredible barrel that went through the Life of Luxe program, which, if you don't know that much about, well, I don't know that much about it either, so I can only say so much. But it's kind of a group of really good friends. You kind of have to be on the inner circle in order to get access to the bottles. It's run by a pastor, and they're really close to their character somehow, and they've done some of the best Rare Character bottles that exist. And that's really all I got for you. I don't know how to join it. If you find out, if you're part of it and you want to invite me, definitely invite me. I'd really appreciate it because I'd love to get in on some of those picks. But anyways, in fourth, also from Rare Character, we have LOL 1. So this is another Life of Luxe, and this, many say, is the Brook Hill before Brook Hill. This is a 127 proof 10-year 6-month bottle that many believe to be a Willet sourced bottle, and it was actually probably Willet sourced where they got it from Heaven Hill, an absolutely stellar bottle, and many believe that this is the second best Rare Character bottle that exists. Its secondary market is only about $1,000, and I say only just because other bottles in Rare Character's profile are even more expensive than that, but people say it is truly stellar. But it is supposedly more tobacco, leathery profile, so many say that it's not really going to be my cup of tea, but we're going to find out. Now, those are our 4 Rare Character samples. So we have 3 Brook Hills, we have a 4th that is kind of the Brook Hill before Brook Hill that Pablo said was really his favorite barrel ever bottled, except Obliteration. Obliteration is 143.9 proof, 42 bottle, 14-year, I think MGP, that was just an absolutely insane bottle that like caught on fire and is 5,000 or $10,000 in secondary. If we ever get a sample of that, we'll definitely review it here on the channel. But supposedly, it's that bottle that's absolutely insane, and then it's a couple of the bottles we have here today, that LOL01, these Brook Hills that are really at the top of the notch. So we're going to find out how good they are. But on the Buffalo Trace end here, what are we putting them up against? Well, we're putting them up against William Larue Weller from 2015, the oldest William Larue Weller that I have, and probably the best, and George T Stagg 2022, my favorite of the last probably about 8 years since the 2016 hazmat. So really, the best George T Stagg and the best William Larue Weller that I have my hands on. and the best rare character that I have my hands on. And this is going to be a hell of a flight. I mean, we have full 1 ounce samples here. I could not be more excited. I have been thinking about doing this flight for a very long time, basically since I started getting my hands on a couple of these samples. And we're going to find out, is rare character truly better than Buffalo Trace? Are their best bottles really competing with the best of George T Stagg and William Larue Weller? Or am I kind of fooling myself a little and just kind of hyping rare character up more than I should? So, without further ado here, I think that's a proper enough introduction for these 6 pours here. I don't know what any of them are. These are all blind, and then we do have note cards that are numbered. So at the end of the video, we'll expose what those all are to me. But while you guys are watching, I will show you guys what I'm drinking as I'm drinking it, just so you guys can follow along a little bit better. But let's get right into it. Let's get into sample number 1 right here. That smells amazing. Now, I will note that I'm expecting something today to break a 9. I still have not rated anything a 9.0 here on the channel, at least at the time of recording this video, although I'm not sure if I'm going to post this before or after my Thomas Handy finale, and I have a good feeling one of those might break 9 as well. But I'm recording this before that finale, so if something gets a 9 here, it is technically the first 9 that I've ever tried and rated here on the channel, even if I posted it later on. But anyways, yeah, the second best rare character ever, 2 absolutely incredible, George T Stagg, William Larue Weller. If nothing's getting a 9.0 today, I don't know what would get a 9.0, and I may have to revise my rating system, but let's see if that has to be the case here. Let's break into this nose a little bit more. Yeah, really bold red cherry on this one, like a nice dark cherry. Definitely some nice nutmeg, some cinnamon, some vanilla, some oak. A more typical flavor profile here. I'm actually not getting like super unique flavors on this one. Kind of getting a pretty standard Kentucky profile here. Although the vanilla is making me think it is one of the wheaters. Everything here is between 8 and 12 years old, other than the George T Stagg, which is obviously going to be 15 years old. Yeah, I mean, it smells amazing, but there's nothing super unique going on about this. I mean, I'm getting the dark cherry. I'm definitely getting a sweeter, but also kind of darker flavor profile here. Let's try it. Okay. Wow. A lot of oak on that in the beginning. And then it eases into a lot of dark fruit. That's actually very reminiscent of the Brook Hill Doom that I tried last week. Which is funny, because if you guys are watching this and you know that it's something totally different, like, if this isn't Doom or Daryl Proof, it is necessarily very different from that Brook Hill Doom. Problem is, the Brook Hill Doom was not very weeded forward, and so while I'm getting a little bit of vanilla on this, that's really all I needed from the Brook Hill Doom to say, okay, yeah, I mean, I guess this is kind of a weeded bourbon. It's not really drinking like a weeded bourbon. Wow, that's super interesting here. Now, I haven't analyzed the colors too much, but glasses 3 and 5 here are much darker than the rest, and glass 6 is actually really light. It's kind of funky. I wonder if that could be the William Larue Weller, just because that has been lighter relative to other things before. But this one here, I think, is probably on par with the 3 and 5, maybe a little bit lighter. And it's really nice. It's really nice. I mean, it's right around a 9.0. Not sure what it is. I will take one more sip here, then I'll go through, and then we'll kind of go back, and we'll do all the ratings and rankings here, and then we'll find out exactly what we had. Well, I guess you guys know what I'm having, but I don't know. It's very good. It's very, very good. It's just a more typical flavor profile, but it is also hot. I mean, I'm thinking this has to be a hazmat or near it, which actually doesn't narrow it down that much on this flight, just because we have 140 with the Doom, 140.18 with the Doom, 140 with the Daryl Proof. The George T Stagg is 138.7. And so, yeah, we're talking about some pretty high proof whiskeys here. Let's take the second sip. Okay, on that one, I'm getting a lot of nice dark fruit on that. That finish is about medium length. It drinks pretty hot, but that's really nice. That's really nice. It's really fruity. I actually think I might like it slightly more than the Doom that I had, 2-3 weeks ago. Which, I mean, if that's just the Doom, then that's going to be kind of funny. Maybe it just kind of opened up a little. I was rating it off of a neck pour before, and I kind of expected that over time it would change a little bit. But that's hot, that's punchy, that's flavorful, that is an amazing pour of whiskey. I mean, that's at least high 8s. And I'm kind of expecting that pretty much everything today will get in the high 8s, but we'll find out. Let's keep pressing on here. Let's go to glass number 2. All right, so glass number 2 here. Okay, this is interesting. This is a little bit more citrus forward. Yeah, I mean, this is not really hinting at anything like the Brook Hill Doom. Not really hinting at George T Stagg or William Larue Weller either. I'm thinking this is one of the other Brook Hills. This could be LOL 01. This could be the Brook Hill LOL 10 year. You have two different Life of Luxe picks here, and they're both supposedly some of the best rare character whiskey. I don't know how Life of Luxe does it, but they do it, and they do it a lot. They have a 15-year Brook Hill, which is supposedly by far the best Brook Hill 15-year. People don't even consider it a Brook Hill 15-year relative to the other ones because it's just a different beast. They also have one of the best ryes on the market, LOL 2, which they actually bottled as 375 ml bottles, and not 750s, because they just saw the popularity and wanted to spread out the love a little bit more. Now, they made good money doing that, but I still think that's a pretty cool thing to do. Yeah, so citrus on this one at the forefront, but there's still a nice dark red cherry on this. Yeah, a good amount of oak presence in this as well. This is actually really oaky, really rich oak. I'm definitely getting the nutmeg, the cinnamon. Getting a little bit of clove on this one as well. Slight mintiness on this. Yeah, I mean, I'm immediately thinking this is one of those two Brook Hills that aren't the Doom or the Daryl. Because I don't think this is George T Stagg, and I don't think this is William Larue Weller. Let's find out. Let's try it. Interesting. Interesting. That one's a good bit lighter than the first pour. There's still a lot of flavor on that one, but it's definitely a little bit more citrusy. It's actually reminding me more of like a Barton flavor profile. If I had to guess, I would think this is the Brook Hill Life of Luxe 10 year. Obviously, don't know if that's true, but I believe that was 119.78 proof, something like that. And this is definitely drinking a little bit lower proof than the first pour. And I just tend to think Brook Hill is just generally Barton. And Barton tends to have the more citrusy, the more like peach, nectarine kind of flavor profile on it. As opposed to like Buffalo Trace, which is very dark cherry and stuff like that. Which is not bad, but it's definitely different. I definitely like this less than pour number 1. Like, this is still definitely going to be mid to high 8s. Probably thinking like a mid, maybe 8.6, something like that, just on that first sip. But we'll see. Let's take another sip here. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's a lot hotter on that second sip. Wow. A lot of good heat on that one. Tons of citrus, tons of caramel, tons of cherry towards the late palate on that one. Very flavorful, very punchy. It does taste a little bit youthful. I think there's a good amount of oak on it, but the oak is slightly rougher on the edges. Which does tell me, like, I don't think this is the George T Stagg. I don't think this can be 15 years old. I'm thinking this is the Brook Hill Life of Luxe 10 year, but it drank hot enough on that second sip here. And I'm actually a little bit confused, because I would have thought that it would have drank a little bit lighter. But it's very good. It's very good. I think it's around an 8.6. I think, you know, I like the orange, I like the citrus, I like that kind of peach nectarine on it. And then it kind of eases into a lot of oak, a good amount of cherry. It's good. It's good. There's a little bit of leather towards the late palate as well. A little bit of pepper on there. There's a lot going on. And it's very good. It's very good. I like pour number 1 a little bit more. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we will come back to it and rate everything. Let's go on to pour number 3. Pour number 3 here. Again, a little bit darker than I think we've seen on pour number 1 or 2. And kind of just very similar to pour number 5. So not really sure what that'll mean. But let's see. Interesting. Wow. So this one actually jumps out as a lot more of a wheated forward bourbon. Just on the nose, I'm expecting Daryl Proof on this, because this doesn't smell like William Larue Weller. This doesn't smell like George T Stagg. I have no idea, though. I mean, I really have no clue. Yeah, so this is interesting. There's definitely a dark cherry at the beginning here that we've kind of seen in the last two. But then there's actually a really strong herbal note on this. Strong lavender, strong herbs like cloves and mint. It's kind of funky. And then there's a good amount of vanilla and a little bit of like molasses as well, which is kind of indicating that wheated flavor profile, but it's like a wheated flavor profile that's also herbal. That's really weird. That is really weird. It smells good. It smells good, but I haven't had anything that smells like that before. Let's try it. Wow. Okay. It doesn't drink super hot, at least on that first sip. Definitely getting some oak on that. Nice rich oak on that. Definitely a little bit of tannic oak on that. And then it does really get into that herbal note. The herbal note's weird. I don't know if I like it that much. It's not bad by any means. But I'm getting kind of a weird funk on this, like oak funk on this, mixed with kind of like herbs, cloves, mint. Yeah, that's really odd. I don't know what my prediction is for this. I mean, I'm going to guess Daryl Proof, just because I kind of get some weeded vibes on this, and the color is a little bit dark, and I would expect Daryl Proof to be pretty dark. I've never owned a bottle of Daryl Proof, though, so I don't know if it's actually that dark. That's weird. That's really weird. Let's take another sip here. Okay, that one was a little bit brighter, so I liked it a lot more. So far, pour number 1 is definitely my favorite. Pour 2 and 3 are pretty close. They're very different, and they're very weird. I think this one really got into a strong minty, clove, herbal note. It's kind of, I thought it was more of a tertiary element. It's kind of growing into more of a secondary element, maybe even the primary element on this. There is definitely a nice oak structure on this. There's definitely that vanilla, molasses, maple sweetness on it as well. But the herbs are just getting stronger and stronger as I drink this. Now that finish is at least medium length, which I do like. I have a really nice punchiness on this, but it kind of just smells herbal. It smells, honestly, like Willet, and I really think this smells more like Willet than anything else here. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. I mean, we know that Rare Character really likes Willet. I've long said that these Brook Hills are kind of designed like Willet Purple Tops, with the way that they kind of expose their logo in the middle, with the way that they're kind of just say sourced and we don't really know much more about them. They say their age, their proof. It's clearly meant to be sourcing the best whiskeys on the market, like the great Willet source bottles of the past. But yeah, I mean, that's very Willet forward, but we'll leave that for now. We'll try everything else, then we'll come back to it. But yeah, that one's funky. I'm not sure how much I really like it, but things can change, I think, as we try other things, as our palate develops. So let's move on to sample number 4. Sample number 4 here. Now, I will note, we haven't really had anything yet that I thought was the George T Stagg. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if this one is the George T Stagg. We'll say. Definitely a richer oak on this one. Definitely some nice dark cherry on this one. Actually, kind of smells like the George T Stagg, and that could just be because now I'm thinking about the George T Stagg, because I said I didn't think anything else was the George T Stagg. Totally possible. Any of these were the George T Stagg. But that's kind of giving Buffalo Trace flavors on here. Getting a nice caramel, a little bit of vanilla, a good amount of cherry, a nice rich oak. Definitely some pretty strong baking spices on this one. The nutmeg, the cinnamon, stuff like that. A little bit of pepper on this one as well. A little bit of leather, a little bit of tobacco. Well, I mean, it smells good. There's definitely also a little bit of like plum in there. Kind of, what I typically get on Buffalo Trace. I might just be convincing myself that this is the George T Stagg. But let's see. Let's try it. That has to be the George T Stagg. That has to be the George T Stagg. I don't know, but it has a richer oak than everything else that we've seen so far. It's very good, very fruit forward, very much, I think, oak at the front palate, and then really gets into a nice dark cherry, really gets into the plum, really gets into a nice caramel and vanilla. Pretty standard Stagg profile to me, which is to say that if this isn't the George T Stagg, I think whatever it is kind of drinks like George T Stagg, which is a good thing. I really like George T Stagg. But that's good here. I think I'm liking it definitely more than 2 and 3. I don't know if I'm liking it more than 1. 1 was really nice. I don't know what 1 is, but 1 is good. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is really solid. Really a lot going on this one. Let's take another sip. Okay. I got the heat on that one. I got a nice cherry on that one. And there's so much oak on that, but there's no roughness around the edges. Like, that really tastes older. That tastes like it's 15 years. That tastes like it's 138.7 proof, which is exactly the proof of George T Stagg 2022. I think this is George T Stagg 2022. Obviously, if it's not, I mean, it's just, my palate maybe not that developed. But now, obviously, if it's not, then you guys can make fun of my palate all you want. I think that's what it is. I'm actually going to stake that is like totally my prediction on it, assuming the next two don't taste like it. But based off of this so far, I think that T Stagg 2022 is going to be in glass number 4 here. I think it has a more cherry profile to it. I think it has a deeper, richer oak to it. And I do like it a lot more than 2 and 3. I think that citrus on glass 2 I just wasn't absolutely loving. And I think glass 3 had a weird herbalness to it that I also wasn't really absolutely loving. Where I do think, glass 1 is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that one stacks up. Glass 4 here I think is at least in second place, if not winning right now. Which obviously, if this isn't the T Stagg, then it's not the T Stagg, and we'll see. We'll find out. It's a blind for a reason. We're having fun here. Let's go on to glass number 5. Glass number 5 here is, again, a bit darker. Wow. And it smells really good. Yeah, I mean, there's a nice, rich, like, caramel candy on this one. Butterscotch and toffee on this one as well, that I'm not really getting on any of the others. There's still that really dark cherry. It's actually more of a maraschino cherry on this one, like a really sweet but darker cherry. Yeah, I mean, really getting a lot of this here. Getting those baking spices as well. Getting a good, nice, rich oakiness. Definitely more molasses sweetness. A little bit of brown sugar on this one as well, which is really nice. On the nose, this this might be one of my favorites, if not my favorite. That is really nice here. On the nose, it's smelling like it could break a 9 based off of what I've had so far and what this is. Let's try it. Wow. That's great. It drinks hot. It drinks hot. There's a lot of heat on that one. I don't know. I don't know what that one is, but I really like it. I think that one is definitely getting into a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of maple sweetness on there, but a nice rich maraschino cherry. I think there's definitely some oak on there, but not a ton. I don't think this is going to be the T Stagg because I just don't think it's drinking 15 years. I think it's drinking 8 years. I almost want to say that this is the Daryl Proof, and in which case, one of these is the LOLO one. I don't know if it's number 1 or number 3. I think number 2 is the Brook Hill 10-year. I don't know. Oh man, this is fun. This is really good though. I think 5 might be my favorite so far just on that first sip. I think it's the only one that I'm really liking definitively more than what I think was the T Stagg 2022 in glass number 4. I mean, that's really nice. Like, that's really well developed here. There's a nice amount of sweetness, and there's all these different elements of sweetness. I mean, you have the fruity sweetness on it. You have, maraschino cherry. You have that plum there. I love to say I get plum on everything. But there's also a nice, really rich, almost like also like a lavender candy on it. Like, there is a little bit of herbal notes on this. I think not nearly as strong as we were getting on glass 3. 3 was really herbal forward to me. But this 5 is definitely not that herbal forward, but it is adding like a nice, actually tertiary element to it, which is really developing this whiskey into something incredibly complex. I'm almost positive that this is going to receive the first 9 rating, and that's almost necessarily because of the fact that I'm going to rate these kind of backwards, or at least maybe I will. I don't know. That's really good though. That's delicious. Like, whatever this is amazing. Wow, let's take another sip. That's a great whiskey right there. It's a great whiskey right there. A lot of deep fruits on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's like glass 1, but better. I think it's punchier. I think it has more dark red fruit on that one. But I also think the oak isn't nearly as tannic. Like, I'm getting pretty much no oak tannin on that, which is really nice. But a nice sweet oak and vanilla presence on there. That brown sugar, that maple, a little bit of that kind of toffee and butterscotch as well in there. And that's a great pour. And that's, not even including that kind of tertiary element of the herbal notes in there, a little bit of mint and lavender and clove and stuff like that. I mean, just so much going on that one. That might be my favorite so far. I don't know what glass number 5 is, but that's kind of the one that I would look to getting a bottle of because that is just absolutely incredible. Let's go on to glass number 6. So let's see what glass number 6 has in store. Okay, it's much sweeter, much more like a sweet corn here. Definitely have the vanilla. I'm immediately thinking this is the William Larue Weller, just off that nose. And I don't know. I don't know what we're drinking. I haven't tried pretty much any of these things. I mean, I've tried different years of T Stagg. I've tried different years of William Larue Weller. I haven't had 2015 William Larue Weller. And I haven't had 3 of the 4 rare characters. I have had the Doom, but I haven't had anything else. And so, I don't know what we're dealing with here. But let's see. It smells really nice, though. I mean, there's a lot going on in that one. Wow. I mean, there's a nice deep red cherry as well on top of what I think is like a nice caramel corn, sweet corn. Definitely a ton of vanilla on that. I mean, that is like a vanilla bomb more than any of these other glasses here. Let's try it. Interesting. It's a bit softer than a lot of these other pours, but towards the late palate kind of comes back with a lot of that heat. That's a very complex whiskey. I think there's a nice sweet oak on there. Vanilla on there. I think there's a lot of the nice weeded flavor notes. I would be surprised if this wasn't one of the weeders, which is to say it must be William Larue Weller, Doom, or Daryl Proof. I think those are our 3 weeders here. I'd be surprised if this wasn't William Larue Weller. It's very reminiscent of, I've had 2020, I've had 2023, 2024, I've had 2021, 2022, I'm trying to think, I've had 2020, because we reviewed that here on the channel as well. That's what we put up against the Doom. So I think I've had, 2020 through 2024, and then I've had, this is 2015. I haven't had the 16, 17, 18, 19. Might be a long time before I try all the William Larue Wellers, but this is just incredible. That is just so complex. Easily getting, I think, into the top 3, top 4 here today. A great benchmark for what a good whiskey should be. And especially if you're paying $1,000. I mean, we didn't talk too much about the secondary market on these, but the Doom, again, is about $1.2 grand. I think the LOL 1 is going to be probably around $1,000 if you want to find it, maybe $900. You're looking at the Brook Hill Life of Luxe 10 years, probably about $800. And the other rare character is the Daryl Proof, which has really never been seen on secondary markets, but to my understanding, people are probably paying around $1,000 on that one as well. And then obviously, T Stagg 2022 is about $800, and William Larue Weller 2015 is by far the most expensive here on the flight, which is, probably about $1,500, kind of depends on that year. Wow. I mean, that's really nice. Let's take another sip here. Yeah. There's a nice richness on that. Really nice complexity on that one. I mean, it begins with your oak, then it gets into this nice sweet corn, vanilla. And then towards the end, it gets into that leather, a little bit of tobacco, pepper on that. Kind of really gets, a nice strong sweetness on it, but a different kind of sweetness than you would get on, I think, like a T Stagg. Different kind of sweetness than you would get on, your normal, like, Stagg Jr., typical Buffalo Trace profile. I think that's a wheated bourbon. I'd be surprised if it wasn't, and I think it's the William Larue Weller, but we'll find out. But all right, now for the session of truth here. It's not really a moment of truth because we're going to have to try 6 whiskeys again. But we need to rank these and we need to rate these before we find out what they are. Now, my initial predictions are going to be something like Doom, LOL, Brook Hill. I'm thinking this third one, probably LOL 01. 4th is T Stagg. 5th is, I think, Daryl Proof. And 6th is William Larue Weller. And, we'll find out what those all are, and maybe I'll even put on your screen what was right and what was wrong there. If they were all right, I mean, I don't know. I've had the Doom, I've had the William Larue and the T Stagg. I'm kind of just guessing on the others based off the fact that Brook Hill LOL is probably Barton, and LOL 01 is probably Willett, and the Daryl Proof is probably similar to the Doom. And that's all I'm basing all of this off of. So, if I'm right, I mean, I'm a genius. I don't know, oh wow. I don't know how I do it. But anyways, so, where should we begin here? I think I'll begin with glass number 6 here, and we'll give it a rating. I think this one is confidently around an 8.8. I think it's drinking like William Larue Weller. If it's not William Larue Weller, obviously, we'll go back, we'll see if other things are drinking like that William Larue, but this is really good. There's a ton of sweetness on there. I mean, there's even a little bit of citrus on this. A nice, like, cooked blackberry on this as well. Blueberry on this. There's just, man. That's an amazing pour of whiskey. Let's take a sip. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's like blueberry pie mixed with vanilla. I mean, can I honestly say that that's not a 9.0? No, that's a 9.0. I don't know what it is. That's a 9.0. That's the first 9 that I've given here on the channel. If that's not a 9, what is a 9? I mean, that's incredible. There's so much complexity on there. There's no roughness on there. You have the vanilla. You have the blueberry pie. You have just so much going on in that pour. That's awesome. That's an amazing pour. Obviously, I hope it's not William Larue Weller because all the other bottles are cheaper on secondary markets than that William Larue Weller. That's an amazing pour whiskey. I mean, that's just incredible. Like, if I had to rate something a 9 and I had to compare everything else to what, is going to be a 9, I mean, that is a 9. That has to be a 9. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing pour whiskey. So I'm going to pass on 5 for now, because 5 I really, really liked, and I want to be more confident about that answer. So I think I'm going to go back, and I'm going to try a 2 and 3 here. I think those are my least favorites. I think I liked 1, 4, 5, and 6 a little bit more. But let's find out here. Let's go to glass number 3. Let's kind of randomize it a little bit here. Wow, that really opened up to what is reminiscent of like a Willet candy. Oh my god. Really similar to a Willet Purple Top on this one. That's weird. Now, obviously, psychology plays a great factor in drinking whiskey. And the fact that I'm pretty sure LOL01 is going to be a Willet-sourced bottle may just be leading me to believe that this glass, which I think is that LOL01, just kind of tastes and smells more like Willet than it may actually taste. And that's kind of the fun of whiskey. Psychology is just so important in whiskey drinking here. That's why you try a lot of whiskeys. That's why you really think about your whiskeys, really think about those tasting notes, because that's how you can really, kind of avoid the kind of bias that you might have or the flavor notes that you might have that you might be leaning towards. And that smells incredible. For what it's worth, I mean, this is looking like kind of like a lavender candy sweetness on this. Really, really rich caramel sweetness on this. Like almost like a candied green apple, but without that green apple, I mean just really pure caramel candy. Imagine a caramel candy apple, but imagine you take out the green apple and you just have that liquid caramel candy. That's what this is. Yeah, but there's still some cloves, some mint, stuff like that. Still some maraschino cherry in this one as well. I think, the cherry has definitely gone deeper on this one. A rich oak on this one as well, like a really rich sweet oak. Tons of vanilla, tons of brown sugar. I mean, it smells incredible. Let's try it. Wow. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Oh, man. There's a lot to love there. I mean, that's like a Willet Purple Top at perfection. I mean, there's just so much there. I think the nose was absolutely incredible. I think the palate here, you're going to get a little bit of heat. You're definitely going to get more oakiness on the palate on that one. It starts becoming drying towards the end. Oh, man. Do I like that more than what I think was the William Larue Weller glass number 6 that I rated a 9.0? I mean, it's in that range. It's in that ballpark. I think I do. I'm going to rate it a 9.1. 0.2 higher than anything I rated before this video. I mean, that's incredible. That's like utterly incredible. I mean, that's a $1,000 bottle to me. I mean, I don't know what this is. That's a $1,000 bottle to me. That's awesome. I mean, there's just so much complexity on that one. You have a nice rich oak on that one. You definitely get a little bit into the tobacco, into the pepper, stuff like that towards the late palate, which may not be for all people, but I mean, if you drink that and you don't think that that's absolutely amazing whiskey, I mean, I'd love to meet you and know what you consider to be absolutely amazing whiskey, because that's absolutely amazing whiskey to me. I mean, that is absolutely stellar. It's going to be weird if this flight only ends up being a 9 or higher. I don't think that's going to be the case. We'll see. But whatever that was in glass number 3 was awesome. I mean, really, really delicious whiskey. I will say it did have like strongness and certain flavor profile that I do think it's a single barrel. I don't think that's the William Larue Weller on the T Stagg. It could be. I don't think it is. I don't know. Let's go on. I'm going to try glass number 2 right now. All right, let's go on to glass number 2 here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of grown into more of like an orange candy here, like a nice, deeper, richer citrus. Man, that's good. that's good. I don't know if it's as good as glass 3 or glass 6, but it is very delicious here. Let's take a sip. Yeah. So this one has citrus. It has some cherry. Has a little bit of tobacco, pepper towards the end. Pretty leathery, pretty oaky. I don't like it nearly as much as the other. I mean, compared to the other two, I mean, that one is It's pretty bad. I mean, it's funny because on its own, that's probably an absolutely amazing whiskey. But I think given this flight, which is not an easy flight to do well in, it's definitely the worst. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and rate that an 8.6. I'm going to save a little bit of whiskey there. Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe I'll drink it after this video. But yeah, that's an 8.6. I mean, it's good. It's very good. 8.6 is nothing to scoff at, but it's not close to Glass 3 or Glass 6. I mean, it's very good. I don't know what it is, but anyways, let's keep moving along. So I guess 9.1, 9.0, 8.6 is going to kind of be back here. Glasses 1, 4, and 5. I think this is the Doom. I think this is the Daryl, and I think Glass 4. I don't even know what I thought Glass 4 was. What did I? George T Stagg. What do we do now? I'll try Glass 1. I think there's the least in Glass 1. Kind of open up to a lot of plum candy on this one. I mean, just by the sheer virtue of it not having that much in the glass, you're going to look at a sweeter nose. I mean, the alcohol sugars have kind of stuck to the glass a little bit more now. And it's more noticeable when there's less whiskey in the glass because, you know, the whiskey isn't overpowering those alcohol sugars sticking to the glass. I mean, it smells incredible. It smells great. Let's try it. Interesting. So, there's a lot of tannic oak on that. Pretty bright. Pretty, you know, definitely some, like, nice, really rich red cherry on that one. And then it also gets into a nice, like, dark kind of blackberry as well. It's much more simple than pretty much all the glasses before. I mean, maybe Glass 2 was pretty similar, but I don't like that nearly as much as Glass 3 or Glass 6. It's good. It's really good. It's very much my flavor profile. I like the punchiness on this. I think this is the Doom, but it's kind of simple. It's kind of simple, and I can say that because, you know, I'm not pressured as to, you know, having to claim to you all that $1,000 bottles are worth it. This is a blind. I can give my true, unadulterated opinion on this one, and we'll find out what the hell I'm talking about later. I'm not pressured to say that good whiskeys are good whiskeys or expensive whiskeys are good whiskeys. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's really, really good. It's not close to Glass 3 or Glass 6. It's an 8.7. I think it's better than Glass 2. I think Glass 2 was more citrusy forward, and I didn't like that much. I think Glass number 1 is better. I don't think it's close to Glass 3 or Glass 6 here. Let's keep moving along. Alright, so we have Glass 4 and Glass 5 left. Now, because I thought that Glass 5 might be the winner, let's try Glass 4 here, which I think is the George T Stagg 2022. I mean, it's just a more typical Kentucky flavor profile on this. I think it tastes like George T Stagg. It smells like George T Stagg. Let's try it. Wow. A lot of punch on that one. A lot of cherry on that one. Easily better than these two. Wow. I've never rated George T Stagg higher than 8.7. I'm going to rate it an 8.9 though. I think I like it slightly less than the William Larue Weller, at least what I think was the William Larue Weller. Although, it might be a 9. I actually, you know what? As the late palate kind of got in there, that really rich cherry got in there, there's so much going on here that's just really nice. Okay. I'm going to have to finish this with you guys. Really rich oak. It's like Glass 6. It's also 9.0. And I think it's very different from Glass 6. I think I like Glass 6 more, but I think they both deserve a 9.0. Great pour whiskey. Really cherry forward, really cherry candy forward. So much going on. Just absolutely amazing. I mean, just so much rich oak on that one. I almost didn't want to take that sip of water because I wanted to let those flavors sit a little bit longer. But anyways, we have one more glass. Let's try Glass 5. Really rich cherry candy on this one. A little bit of herbs, a little bit of the cloves, the mint, the lavender. A nice caramel candy, kind of like that caramel green apple candy that I was talking about without the green apple. Just that caramel candy. It's really good. Let's take a sip. Wow. Wow, that's good. That's really good. Wow. Oh my god. I mean, on that sip, I think it's better than Glass 4 and Glass 6. I think it's up there with Glass 1 at a 9.1. I mean, wow. Oh, wow. I might have to take this final sip here. I might have to kill this with you guys. Wow, there's so much going on that one. So much complexity on that one. And that is really, really nice. Let's take the final sip. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's my favorite of the day. I think it's marginally better than Glass 3. But I think given the day, I could go either way. I think it's really good. I think it's really good. I think there's a lot going on there. I think it's 9.1. All right. Let's find out what we drank. So we're going to start in the back here with glass number 2. Find the note card that says number 2 here. Number 2. So I thought this was the Brook Hill LOL. Let's find out what it was. Yeah, that was William Larue Weller 15. Okay. We're going to go to glass number 1 here. Things are going to get messed up. Glass number 1 is the LOL 1. Okay. We were totally off. I mean, okay. I put, I think, in number 6 here. I said, I thought that was William Larue Weller. LOL Brook Hill. Okay. Okay, so the T Stagg is still out there somewhere. But, really? The William Larue Weller is an 8.6? Okay. Next up, we have glass number 4 here. T Stagg 2022. That one I got right. I think that's the one right one we have so far. Tasted like T Stagg. It is T Stagg. It's very good. We have Doom and Daryl left? Oh my god. Oh my god. So, I said that glass number, 3 here was slightly better, but glass number 5 here, I could go either way. Glass number 5 here is the Doom. And glass number 3 here is the Daryl. Oh my god. Okay. Huh. That's Daryl? Okay. I mean, sorry, that's Doom. That's Daryl. Yeah, okay, so Daryl Proof 1 smells and tastes like Willet. It's really good. Really, really good. Yeah, Doom's really nice as well. Oh my god. The LOL 1 was good, but it was nothing crazy. I mean, people say this is the second best rare character ever. I mean, I'm just going to disagree with them. It's good, but I don't know. I mean, it's very good. It's just slightly flat compared to everything else. I like doing these blinds because sometimes I'm really, really good with those palettes. Sometimes I'm really bad. I think I said, you have to rest my reputation on the T Stagg, and that I got right. That I got right. And I thought that number 5 was the Daryl, was the Doom, so I was pretty close there. Really, really nice on the Doom. I mean, 9.1, I had initially rated it an 8.9, so obviously, I have a little bit more of the Doom, so I'm pretty interested to see, how that will develop over time. I mean, better than how we tried it last week. I rated an 8.9 last week, now, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever you guys are seeing this video. But wow, I mean, Daryl Proof won today. Doom got second, T Stagg got third, and LOL Brook Hill got 4th. Really impressed with that LOL Brook Hill. William Larue Weller, 8.6. I'm not sure if this is an off year. I'm not sure if I just don't actually like William Larue Weller that much. That is citrusy forward. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of confused. Wow. LOL 01 in pretty far back. But okay. Daryl Proof is awesome. It won the flight. I hope to get a bottle of Daryl Proof. Doom is also awesome. I have actually have a killed bottle here of Doom. Empty bottle here of Doom. I sampled it out to a lot of friends, but I saved a couple ounces for myself. So, I will get to revisit that again. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised here. but those are the results, and that's the blind, and that's how blinds work. So anyways, I hope you all had fun. I think, in conclusion, some of the best rare character is truly better or as good as some of the best Buffalo Trace. I think the winner here is rare character. I mean, they got first and second place. T Stagg 2022, I mean, this is a 2024 bottle, but T Stagg 2022 did end up in third, and it really held its own, and I think it was very close between 3, 4, and 5. I think those are the three closest. I think, you know, while I gave 6 a 9.0, I think, you know, it could have been slightly lower as well. I don't know. But, wow, I'm surprised. I'm impressed. I had some fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you had a lovely rest of your day. Rare character, Brook Hill, not the worst thing in the world. I think some of them are really worth their secondary markets, so, you know, don't shy away too quickly. But anyways, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.